The Omicron variant is having a big impact on first responders in North Texas. Dallas Fire Rescue is experiencing the most workers out at one time since the pandemic first started. Fox's Stephen Dial has more.
As we continue to see a big spike in new coronavirus cases from the Omicron variant, first responders are also starting to see an impact.
As of now, we have 181 frontline firefighters who are in quarantine right now.
Dallas Fire and Rescue is experiencing the most workers out of the office at one time since the pandemic started. DFR does daily testing for every shift. Despite the CDC lowering the isolation time from 10 to 5 days, DFR is currently still doing a 10-day quarantine. Jim McDade is the Firefighters Association president.
I do know that the department is about to change that, and we're going to go to a 5 full days of quarantine and then a negative test to come back to work. And of course, not being symptomatic anymore.
McDade says right now the shortage of workers is not impacting response time, saying more are working overtime. But that can't last forever, with regular shifts being 24 hours at a time.
That's going to be the breaking point for us, is going to be how long can we sustain the overtime that our members are working.
The Dallas Police Department tells us last week they had 44 people out of the office. 38 of the 44 are officers. DPD employees are also going by a 10-day quarantine period. In neighboring Tarrant County, about 40 Arlington firefighters are out with COVID. Chief Don Krausen tells us that makes up close to 7% of their workforce. His department is only doing tests when a firefighter has symptoms. Fort Worth Fire could not provide any active case count numbers, but says they do daily testing and about a dozen firefighters test positive each week. Fort Worth Fire is also still doing a 10-day quarantine period.
It's going to continue to increase. Even when we're getting people back, it's going to continue to increase. And it's probably going to take off exponentially, which could potentially, definitely impact us.